I feel I want to maybe begin by taking us to the underlying question that we're pondering with the biennial this time round, which is, can textile making be a regenerative act? And ask you to say a little bit more, you want to pick up where you left off, and what is the future? What is the future in terms of conscious fashion and reducing waste, but also what is the future for traditional textile techniques, whether that's in Ghana or indeed in the UK? Could you maybe share some thoughts on that?
I don't think it's a case of can it has to. I think that we now have to make a choice, because at stake, I think, is our sector, because I just do not see it as being sustainable, this constant race toward the cheapest, and to see how we can find new markets within which we can exploit people further. That we need to acknowledge that the value of clothing is not necessarily in how little we pay, but in how much we invest. And I think that the narratives, which is what I was trying to leave you with, if anything, is the idea of the narratives that surround both the making and the possession of clothes are enormously powerful. And if you think, even in this country, that people had handfuls of garments, and many of these things would be handed down, and the emotional connective tissue between you and your wardrobe would have been enormously powerful. To be handed down a coat that was owned by your mother or your father, that wasn't just about wearing a garment, it was about carrying that history on your back. And that sense of clothes being more than just kind of fabric, more than just ways of keeping warm, I think is important. And for designers who think so hard about the crafting of their work, that I think to produce yet less and to have it worn more, and to have their garments worn with greater thought, I think it does a level of respect for the craft. So my thoughts, which I try to encapsulate at the very end, is that we need to buy less, we need to buy locally, and that we need to kind of be more thoughtful about the things that we buy. And my also hope is that alongside this, that there are the kind of the technologies which allow us to be more effective in the ways in which we produce fabrics, but also the ways in which we can recycle the fabrics that do come to the end of their lives. You see those scenes in Ghana, and anyone who knew what those beaches looked like 20 or 30 years ago, they were pretty much pristine, absolutely gorgeous. It was like paradise. And the idea that in a generation that could have happened, and it could have happened, which is one of the other tragedies, being driven by people wanting to do the right thing, that we now need to be very thoughtful about how we create some conscious campaigns to make people aware of the costs of them buying cheaply, but also of disposing without a great deal of thought.